What if I told you that the missile shield the United States spent billions of dollars building, decades of research, thousands of interceptors, fleets of radar ships, and layers of classified algorithms could be neutralized in a single night? What if the very system designed to make America untouchable suddenly faced a threat it was never optimized to defeat? For years, Washington projected confidence-layered missile defense, space-based tracking, Aegis destroyers, Patriot batteries, THAAD deployments, a steel umbrella over allies and assets. But in the shadows, Iran studied, adapted, and waited. And now, after a series of precision strikes and technological leaps, analysts are asking a chilling question: has the balance shifted? Has Iran just rewritten the rules of modern missile warfare? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we are diving deep into one of the most consequential shifts in modern military strategy, a shift that could redefine deterrence from the Persian Gulf to Eastern Europe. The United States built its missile defense architecture on the assumption that speed, precision, and layered interception would outmatch any regional adversary. Billions were poured into radar arrays, interceptor programs, and naval platforms equipped with the Aegis combat system. The promise was simple: detect, track, destroy. But war is never static. Every shield invites a sharper sword. For years, Iran was portrayed as a missile power, but not a peer competitor in air defense technology. That perception shaped policy. Sanctions were designed to choke supply chains. Intelligence agencies focused on nuclear timelines. Meanwhile, Tehran invested relentlessly in asymmetric warfare, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, drones, swarm tactics. The logic was straightforward: if you cannot match your adversary plane for plane or carrier for carrier, you attack their assumptions. And assumptions are often more vulnerable than hardware. The United States relied heavily on layered systems like Patriot and THAAD to protect forward bases and allies, naval assets with Aegis patrol strategic waters. Ground-based interceptors sit ready to counter long-range threats. But here is the first uncomfortable reality: missile defense is probabilistic, not absolute. Interceptors are expensive. Offensive missiles are comparatively cheap. When one side can launch dozens of projectiles at once, mixing decoys, drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic weapons, the math begins to tilt. Iran understood the math. Instead of pursuing a single super missile, it diversified. Short-range ballistic missiles with improved accuracy, medium-range systems capable of reaching U.S. bases across the region, land attack cruise missiles flying low and fast, evading radar horizons, and perhaps most disruptive of all, large-scale drone swarms designed to saturate defenses. Each platform alone might be manageable. Together, launched in coordinated waves, they create decision paralysis. Consider the strategic geography. U.S. bases in the Gulf sit within range of Iranian missile forces. Naval vessels operating near the Strait of Hormuz must account for coastal launchers hidden in hardened sites. Fixed radar installations become high-value targets. In a conflict scenario, the opening minutes would matter more than the opening hours. Iran's doctrine appears to emphasize overwhelming salvos aimed at degrading defensive nodes before follow-on strikes, blind the radar, exhaust the interceptors, then push through. In recent years, analysts observed something else: improvements in guidance systems. Iran began fielding missiles with maneuverable reentry vehicles and better terminal accuracy. That changes targeting calculus. Instead of firing dozens to hit a wide area, fewer missiles can strike specific infrastructure, runways, fuel depots, command centers. Precision increases lethality while reducing cost per effect. And that efficiency forces defenders to spend disproportionately more on interception. The United States has unmatched experience in integrated air and missile defense. But even the most advanced systems have limits. Radar coverage is constrained by curvature of the Earth. Low-flying cruise missiles can hug terrain. Drones can approach from unexpected vectors. Electronic warfare can complicate tracking. In layered defense, coordination is everything. If one layer is overwhelmed, the next must respond instantly. Delay of seconds can determine success or failure. Now imagine a coordinated strike, ballistic missiles on high arcs, cruise missiles skimming low, drones approaching from multiple angles, cyber interference targeting communications. The defender must prioritize which threat is most dangerous. Which interceptor is assigned to which target? Every shot costs millions. Every missed shot risks strategic embarrassment or worse, casualties. Saturation is not about perfection. It is about forcing the defender into impossible choices. This is where the rules begin to change. Historically, missile defense was seen as a stabilizing force. It reassured allies and deterred adversaries. But if an adversary can convincingly demonstrate the ability to penetrate that shield, at least partially, deterrence dynamics shift. The perception of invulnerability erodes. And in geopolitics, perception can be as powerful as reality. Iran's missile program has also emphasized mobility. Transporter erector launchers move frequently. Underground facilities complicate preemptive strikes. Dispersed launch sites reduce vulnerability. In military terms, survivability equals credibility. If a nation can guarantee retaliation despite an initial attack, it strengthens deterrence. By investing in hardened infrastructure and rapid launch capabilities, Iran signaled that its arsenal cannot be easily neutralized. There is another layer, regional integration. Iran's network of allied militias and proxy forces extends across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Each node potentially fields rockets, drones, or missiles that can be synchronized. This distributed threat environment complicates defense planning. The shield is no longer facing one direction. It must scan 360 degrees. Meanwhile, technological diffusion accelerates. Commercial drone components are widely available. Precision guidance kits can be improvised. Software-driven targeting systems evolve rapidly. Unlike legacy weapons programs requiring decades, modern strike capabilities can iterate quickly. Adaptation cycles shorten. A defense system designed 10 years ago may confront threats conceptualized only months prior. The United States is not standing still. Upgrades continue. New interceptors are tested. Space-based sensors promise improved tracking of hypersonic threats. Artificial intelligence is integrated to assist in rapid threat discrimination, but development timelines are long and procurement cycles are complex. Offensive innovation often moves faster than defensive bureaucracy. The psychological dimension cannot be ignored. When headlines suggest that a missile shield has been bypassed, even partially, public confidence is shaken. Allies question reliability. Adversaries test boundaries. Strategic messaging becomes a battlefield of its own. Iran understands this. Demonstrations of capability, whether through regional strikes or highly publicized exercises, serve both military and informational objectives. Another critical factor is cost asymmetry. An interceptor missile can cost several $million. A drone might cost tens of thousands. If an attacker can force a defender to fire expensive interceptors at inexpensive targets, sustainability becomes an issue. In prolonged conflict, economics shape outcomes. War is not just about firepower, it is about endurance. The concept of layered defense assumes manageable volumes. But what if volumes are deliberately unmanageable? Swarm doctrine aims to create chaos. Multiple small targets saturate radar screens. Operators must classify friend from foe, decoy from warhead. In fog of war conditions, mistakes happen, and mistakes in missile defense are unforgiving. Strategic planners in Washington now face a sobering reality. Missile defense cannot guarantee impermeability. It can reduce risk, but not eliminate it. That distinction matters. If Iran's strategy is to prove that even a fraction of its arsenal can penetrate, That may be enough to alter calculations. Deterrence becomes mutual vulnerability rather than unilateral protection. There is also the maritime dimension. U.S. aircraft carriers and destroyers are formidable, yet they operate within missile range in contested waters. Anti-ship ballistic missiles, if sufficiently accurate, threaten high-value assets. Even the perception of such capability forces changes in deployment patterns. Standoff distances increase. Sortie rates may decrease. Operational tempo shifts. Critics argue that claims of a defeated missile shield are exaggerated. They point to successful interceptions in past engagements. They highlight classified capabilities unknown to the public. And they are correct to caution against sensationalism. No defense collapses overnight, but incremental erosion can be just as consequential as dramatic failure. Iran's strategy appears rooted in layered offense against layered defense. If one missile fails, another follows. If one vector is blocked, another emerges. Complexity becomes the weapon, and complexity is difficult to neutralize entirely. This dynamic mirrors broader trends in modern warfare, where hybrid tactics blend conventional missiles, cyber operations, and information campaigns. What does this mean for global stability? First, regional allies may seek additional protection, accelerating arms procurement. Second, adversaries elsewhere will study the model. If saturation and cost asymmetry work in one theater, they may be replicated in others. Third, escalation thresholds become murkier. A strike intended as signaling could trigger rapid retaliation. At the strategic level, the United States must adapt doctrine. Greater emphasis on resilience rather than invulnerability, distributed basing instead of centralized hubs, rapid runway repair capabilities, redundant communication networks, hardening of infrastructure. In other words, accept that some missiles may get through and design systems that continue operating anyway. Iran, for its part, leverages ambiguity. It does not need to prove absolute superiority. It only needs to demonstrate sufficient capability to complicate American planning. In deterrence theory, raising the perceived cost of action can be as effective as possessing overwhelming power. The goal is hesitation. Technology will not pause. Hypersonic glide vehicles, advanced decoys, electronic countermeasures, all loom on the horizon. Missile defense must evolve to track faster, maneuvering threats. Yet each upgrade prompts a counter upgrade. The cycle is perpetual, offense and defense locked in technological chess. So when we say the missile shield is gone, we are not describing physical disappearance. We are describing the erosion of certainty, the fading illusion that money alone can buy invulnerability. Iran's advancements, combined with strategic doctrine emphasizing saturation and survivability, have exposed structural vulnerabilities in even the most sophisticated systems. And here lies the central question: if no shield is perfect, how do nations deter without overconfidence? The answer may lie not in thicker armor, but in smarter posture, alliances, diplomacy, forward presence balanced with mobility, transparency combined with strategic ambiguity. The future of missile warfare will reward flexibility. The rules of war change when technology and doctrine intersect in unexpected ways. Iran studied the shield and built a toolkit designed to stress it from every angle. The United States must now recalibrate. This is not a story of collapse. It is a story of adaptation under pressure. As tensions simmer and regional flashpoints persist, one truth stands out: the era of unquestioned missile defense dominance is over. In its place emerges a more complex, uncertain landscape where saturation, cost asymmetry, and distributed threats redefine security. Whether this shift leads to renewed arms races or innovative stability mechanisms remains to be seen. Stay vigilant, stay informed. The next evolution in missile warfare may already be underway, and the balance of power can shift faster than headlines can keep up. If you want clear, uncompromising analysis on the strategies shaping our world, make sure you are here for every update. The rules are changing, And those who fail to notice risk being left unprotected